I just made a tape on Richard Jenny. I downloaded a video on Richard Jenny, trying to remember um, details of the first encounter that I had with him.
Richard Jeni.
But I want to add something in here. One of the things he asked me, after he told me that I had a great body, a very unusual body, very stunning, he asked me also, well, what I was doing to be in that shape, such a good shape. And I remember telling him that, oh, I really live in the gym. I like to go to the gym and work out, which actually in those times I was not really going anymore to the gym like I used to. But I did a lot of workout, not a lot, but normal, workout and on gyms, um, different ones, wherever I lived. I was always working out, keeping my shape. So I explained him that. But after he met me, when he met me, I was quite a while. I didn't go to the gym, but I still had a good shape. So I remember that was another thing that he asked me. Uh, that was the first encounter with Richard Jenny. Um, he was really, how you say that? He was really conquering that night. We went back to his waiting room in Comedy Works, and we talked, and he asked me questions, and I told him a little bit of my background, the church, and I told him about dating Mike Murdoch, a TV evangelist. So that's the only public image I have got in touch with. Of course, my time with Mike Murdoch was intense, and it was not very long as it was my friendship with Richard Jenny. My friendship with Richard Jenny was years, several years, as he came to Colorado. But anyway, just trying to remember little things here and there. The last time I saw Richard Jenny, something really uncomfortable happened on Comedy Work. I paid my tickets to sit in the front, the amount that was supposed to be. And this color man, this black man, took me out of my seat that I paid for and seat me in the back of Comedy Works. I was very, very upset about that. And I explained that. He said, the black man said, I don't know why they sold you a ticket in the front, because they were sold out. So I got in a big argue with this color man. Richard Jenny was back in the room, he didn't know I was there. So I told him to tell Richard that I was there. And anyway, I had an argue with the color man because he was taking me out of my seat in the front, and it was like they knew, something about me and Richard Jenny dating in Comedy Works. So he took me out of my seat, sit me in the back, and I argue with him. And actually, I don't remember if I was told to go out and they would not let me in, or I just walked out. I can't remember. I think maybe they told me that if I kept, I couldn't remember. I think I walked out, honestly. So I waited outside until the comedy show ended. And then Richard Jenny saw me standing out there, and he spoke to me. And he asked me what happened. And I said, with this problem with this man, I really wanted to talk to Richard about what was going on. So I explained him what happened, and Richard seems very tired and concerned that night. That was the last night I saw him. And again, he looked at me and told me that you look great again. We had a little talk in there. I can't remember right now the conversation we had. We probably talk about probably close to 10 minutes. And he had a car waiting for him outside, a limousine waiting with a guy inside. And he told me where he was going. He was going to stay in the motel somewhere behind there. And I saw where it was. He saw my car. So when we talked that night, he told me, "I see you next time." And that next time, he did not go to Comedy World. When he came to Colorado, he did not go to Comedy World. He came to a theater. And I know that Richard was expecting me to come there that night. That was several months later. But I did not show up. And I don't want to make too much comment about the fight and the argue I had with the color man in Comedy Works last time I saw Richard. But he was really, that color man was it was not respectful with me. And Richard was not in his side. He was in my side, but he didn't make too much comment about that. Well, next thing, Richard was coming to the theater, and I didn't show up. And then after that, he was coming back to Comedy Works then. And 2 weeks before he was scheduled to Comedy Works, that's when I heard the news on TV that Richard had killed himself. So I was living in Aurora, Colfax, Colorado. And I almost passed out when I heard that on TV. And I said, "Oh my God!" And the last time I saw him was that when I got in trouble. So that night, that who knows what could have happened that night. Good for me and Richard that we got interrupted by this color man on Comedy Works, and he did not want us to meet. So anyway, just wanted to say this. Oh, it's terrible. I just feel the experience of it right now. It was like, oh my God, if I would have gone to the theater, then all these questions in my mind. If I would have called him again, if I would have write to him again. I don't know. It was terrible. And I heard that the last time we talked was under a conflict of somebody don't letting me sit on my seat in front close to him. Okay, so I wanted to say for now.